Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben. Today my name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original series, Russian Doll. This is how I structure my reviews. In case you don't know, I give a short synopsis, a what's it about if you will, and then I talk about what I liked, and then I talk about what I didn't like, and in the end I give a fun tidbit or fact at the end before giving my rating. Review time. So Russian Doll is a series that is produced by Universal Television and bought by Netflix. The series features an all-female writing and directing team. It's a half an hour, 8-episode series that follows a young woman named Nadia. Nadia is played by Natasha, Lyonne, who you may recognize from Orange is the New Black. Natasha Lyonne is also a creator of the show, alongside the very talented Amy Poehler, who wrote some of Parks and Recreation. One could say that. And Leslie Headland, who all serve as executive producers with Headland and Lyonne. As you can see, it's a very talented ensemble. So Natasha plays Nadia. It's her birthday and her best friend is throwing her a birthday party. Problem is, Nadia can't seem to escape this birthday, and she desperately wants to very quickly because she's having a sort of Groundhog Day problem. And that's the basic premise in a nutshell. So what I liked. I had no idea what to expect when watching this series, and even now I find some of it's hard to explain, but I'm gonna try. If you took Groundhog's Day, like I mentioned earlier, and mixed it in with something almost sitcom in style and the dialogue that is witty, clever and filled with potty mouth syndrome, and then add in the foreboding feeling that one can really only get by time travel plot lines like 12 Monkeys and Donnie Darko, then this is almost in the vicinity of what Russian Doll is. I still have no idea why it's called Russian Doll, apart from the fact that you get to see one somewhere in the series. If you know why it's called Russian Doll, let me know in the comments. I do love the lead. I think she's a great actress and has done some superb work, not just in acting but in directing and writing as well. She is an all-round fantastic talent. I just didn't know what to make of this series, especially as it started, but it wasn't until something happens to start this loop off that I really get into it until I was hooked. It's a series that's especially easy to binge, which I think helps as the episodes are only half an hour, so the plot seems to start and it moves along quite quickly. As Nadia tries to figure out what's going on and see how to get out of the loop, we encounter who she is as a person through the people she meets at her party and around it. It puts you, the viewer, in kind of a detective seat. The plot reveals itself little in each episode, which was enough for me to kind of carry on trying to figure out what was going on as Nadia tries to figure out. It kept me hooked, and just when I thought I'd figured out what was going on, about midway through the series, the plot changes tack, and I wasn't expecting it at all. It was excellent. And then I had to try and figure out what the hell was going on all over again, which made the series just feel fresh all over again. It does feel fresh after the first episode, and then you think, ah, I've got it now, I know what's happening, and then halfway through you're like, oh, okay, just changes things again. Excellent. I mean, there have been quite a few Groundhog Day-esque films and series, so I did wonder how on earth they could make this series fresh. But they did, and it has the best and most satisfying ending I could have asked for, which is amazing, because ending something like this well is very essential to make you remember this series fondly. So many series and time travel films, I feel like sometimes they let you down in the ending, because it is really hard to end a kind of time travel loop thing well, in my experience, and I thought this did it excellently. When the ending does eventually hit, it made me want to go back and watch it again, because I kind of wanted to see if I'd missed anything more, because there are kind of clues that let you know what's going on through the series, which makes it fun. But when you get to the end, you kind of go, wait a minute, did I miss that? And I think that just speaks to the quality of the series. So what I didn't like. Well, for me, the dialogue at times had me thinking, do people really talk like this in reality in a normal everyday conversation? The quick-wittedness and funny lines that was so easy for some of the characters, especially the main ones, to come off like off the cuff of the sleeve, I think works some of the time. But some of the time I did feel like it was scripted, because I don't believe that somebody can do that all the time.
Bellevue? Is it the nicest psych ward?
It's definitely the closest.
I like to think of myself as being fairly quick-witted, but I don't always have the perfect remark straight away as soon as somebody said it, or almost before, like they knew what you were going to say and then just come back with a really kind of quick-witty remark. And that for me was it took me out of what they were trying to do with the show. And maybe that's just me, maybe I'm not the smartest guy and I'm a bit slow. That's fully possible. I'll hold my hand up and say, yeah, that could be me, but that was my personal preference for some of the dialogue. The only other issue I had was with the fact that some of the side characters who I love in this series, the series is full of amazing characters. Some of them could really have been given more screen time, and I know this is an issue because they only had 30 minutes per episode. There's only 8 episodes, so maybe this is the reason why they couldn't do that. But I do feel like had they given a couple of more episodes, even 2 probably would have done it, you would have got to experience some more of those characters which are so rich. You would have got to know more about Nadia's life because of these characters. For example, there's a character named Horse played by Brenston Sexton III, I believe. A very handsome hobo. He's the kind of gutter punk you see panhandling with a one-legged German Shepherd. At least that's the synopsis for him.
Do we know each other?
Fuck off!
And then there's the character for Lizzie, who's played by Rebecca Henderson. She's kind of the voice of reason to Nadia. She's really practical and reliable, but also has a really crazy adventurous bone.
Yeah, this is much safer.
These type of characters are littered throughout the series, and every kind of side character I really kind of fell in love with. I really feel like they add a lot to the series, and I really wanted to know more about them. And I think this really just kind of speaks to the quality of the characters created inside of the main plot, and I really wanted to know more of them.
It's a long story involving multiple deaths.
Again, this is probably not a bad thing. Honestly, this series was a complete surprise to me. I've seen time loop films before, but nothing quite like this. It's filled with potty mouth, fast witty dialogue during a self-discovery kind of story in amongst this often creepy at times series, but I loved kind of every moment of it. Time for Did You Know? Did you know that although Natasha Lyonne has acted in Orange is the New Black, she will be directing one of the final episodes for the final season that is coming up on Netflix soon. So Russian Doll took me by surprise and in the end had me wanting more. The story is unique in an otherwise very used plot device, which I feel makes it worth the watch alone, but add in the great acting and some of the amazing characters and then mix in the intrigue of the time loop and the other named plot devices in development, which I won't tell you about because spoilers. It just makes for a really interesting watch, and as such I am giving Russian Doll an A, which is my first A of the year. I think I only gave 2 A's last year. I'm really eager to see what you thought of this series. Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked my review and you want more like this, please consider subscribing. I've got loads more coming out like this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.